evening, dear televiewers, and welcome to another edition of the Republican Debate. We are broadcasting live from Yaoundé, the nation's political capital. Today, we will be debating, as usual, on two themes. The first one will be Anglophone crisis, dreaded separatist fighters killed in Libya land. Good news? That is the question that we'll be trying to find out. We are talking about the separatist fighter, that is Fiu Masha, that was killed in Libya land over the week. The second topic of today will be on security, new appointments. The question is it hope for end to Anglophone crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of the country? As it is a tradition, I am not alone to talk on these two topics of today. We are in the presence of an Iron Lady. I'll say an Iron Lady because she was presented to me as an Iron Lady. We are talking about Jokem Quinivet Kaah. You are the National Secretary of Justice, Peace and Human Rights for the PAP party. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Miss Anne. It's a pleasure to be on your platform. Hello to everyone that is watching home and abroad.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. And right away, move over to my right. We have Kevin Lambert. He is a journalist. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Anne. It's always a pleasure coming back on the plateau for the second time in Cam10 to talk about issues that can bring justice and peace to Cameroon, inshallah.
Okay, thank you very much. And right away, move over to my left. We have Akufo Enes. He is a media consultant. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being on this panel this evening and to talk about topical issues of the Republic. I want to say good evening to the televiewers out there and to my co-panelists.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming. It's a pleasure. And we are going to have a transition. And when we come back, we begin with the first topic of today. Thanks very much. If you are just tuning in, this is the Republican Debate on Cam10 television. We begin right away with the first topic of the day, Anglophone crisis. Dreaded separatist fighter killed in Libya land. Is it good news? We are talking about Fiu Masha, who was killed in Libya land. He has been on the wanted list for a very long time, but thanks to the forces of law and security forces, he was cut down. I can say he was killed. We move over to Quinivet. Can we say that the killing of Fiu Masha, is it a good news?
I would say that there is nothing glorious about the death of anybody. There's nothing to be celebrated about the death of Fiu Masha. Yes, he's done whatever he has done. There are many others that are doing things like him or even worse than he has done. And it is not of the norms of the human rights for someone's life to be taken. So it's a little baffling for me to realize that there are people celebrating over the death of someone. Many people have been killed already. So far, how much has the killings gone to appease the troubles in Cameroon? What has the killings done so far to end or to tame the troubles that we are facing, the political crisis that we are facing in our country? So I really don't see anything to be to applaud about the death of Fiu Masha. On the contrary, I think that Cameroonians should be even more in tears because this is just going to be the birth of some other person that will want to avenge the death of his master. And then it's going to bring more casualties than what has been done already. If we really need to celebrate or clap about something, then we should be thinking about possible solutions like a dialogue. Those are the things that Cameroonians should applaud over and not the death of somebody.
So I think some were saying that they are happy because it brings an end to the numerous lives that he might kill in the nearest future.
I am sorry to say that this is not an end to numerous lives that will be lost. This is just the beginning of more lives that might be lost. Like I said, he has definitely had someone or some people that he has been training, that he has been keeping, and killing him. Besides, we're not even sure who is the one to take glory for his death, because military has said nothing so far about who killed Field Marshal. If they are the ones, they are not taking the praise for it like openly. And there are underground rumors holding that he died as a result of an infighting. So just to say that the truth about who is the author of his death is still to be known. And regardless of that, there are people that have been standing by him and that will definitely be planning to avenge his death, which means more lives will be on the line.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Lambert, the issue now, we are still talking about the Anglophone crisis. Years keep passing. Today, people are celebrating the death of Field Marshal. He has been wanted for several years now. Can we say this is good news?
It's a pity that people are glad that somebody is dead. It's a pity that people are celebrating. Let me tell you something. When Chacha was killed in Bui, they thought it was the end of the whole thing. But let me tell you, that was the beginning of war in Bui. We are talking about crisis, crisis, crisis. I'm a victim of the crisis. I keep saying this several times. If I'm here in Yaoundé, I'm not in Kumbu, meaning there's war. It's not anything crisis. Is he the first Amazonian warlord that is being killed? No. No, because when one person is killed, 50 can get in. I know that the best thing for the military that the military wanted to do was to kill him. We should rather be talking about a genuine dialogue, not killing people, no matter how worrisome or no matter how deadly he was. That is not a solution of anything. To me, it's not a solution. I've quoted an example of Kumbu, of Chacha. You discover that Chacha was just like the Field Marshal in Bui. And he was the one of Lebiale. Is it solving anything? No. It's not solving anything because people are still outside. Houses are still being burnt. People are still escaping their villages. People are still running away. And people are glad, celebrating the death of a human being. It's a pity. It's not solving anything.
So do you think it doesn't solve anything? Don't you think that is going to bring an end to the numerous lives that would have been lost in the nearest future? Had he been, he was still alive.
We are talking about lives that we see. What about the other lives that have been lost that we don't even know? What about those who are fighting through their pens and papers? This thing, if you want it to be done, if you want it to be well done, let it be on paper and pen, not on guns.
Okay.
Guns will never solve anything. Cameroon is not the first country that is having misunderstanding, crisis that is leading to war now. And I call it war because it is a war. Somebody cannot die and you are happy, no matter how the person is. I know that it will be it could have been very difficult for the military to get to him directly without using a gun. But why not use other strategies as intellectuals, as security forces who have been well trained? Why not? There could have been other ways around. Why not drug him and arrest him to know more about him? Because killing him, they have even lost. They have not tapped any information on him. The best thing to do is try arrest him, keep him somewhere, tap the necessary information. You don't know why he was not alone.
Okay, you said they could have maybe drugged him to try to get some information from him. But it seems like some of his phones were taken on the
Phones
side
are not
where
going to solve anything.
The contacts, I think he has contacts of other people.
What about those who escaped? What about those who escaped from the same camp and are not killed? Do you know the second in command of his camp? You don't know. What happens if the other person is coming up? What will happen? Don't you think that let us not just be thinking positively. Let us also think the negative way. Don't you think that the person that is coming up to take up, because definitely the war is not going to end in Lebiale. The person that may be coming up may be more powerful than him. So we are just confusing ourselves. That's what I can say.
Okay. Hakufo, the situation is very disturbing. The separatist fighters that has been wanted for several years now, we are talking about Field Marshal, is no more. Can we say this is good news?
Calling it good news, I think I received the news with a lot of mixed feelings.
Okay.
Mixed feelings in the sense that we're fighting a senseless war. Yes, we should put it that it's a war, not a conflict. Because when you start having rocket launchers, machine guns on the field, in an internal conflict which has degenerated because of negligence, because of pride, because of arrogance, we can just get to the situation in which we are. And I want to tell you that a tree does not constitute a forest, okay? Yeah, I want to say that whether we are jubilating, whether we are crying over the demise of Olivia Likeke, Field Marshal, that's not the important thing we ought to be thinking about. We ought to be thinking about how to get out of the quagmire. Yes, like Kevin did say, he's not the first of the leaders who's succumbed in this almost 6-year war. Some other person may crop up tomorrow. It's rather a pity that we're celebrating, we're talking about it. And then the worst thing being that the army had to parade his corpse. Well, it's a war strategy because in war, you use every means at your disposal to conquer the enemy. I know it was like letting the people know that this was the person on whom you relied. Now that he's killed, just know everything is finished. Yes, that's my interpretation I gave of the parading of his corpse on the streets in Kumba. Notwithstanding, I'll say we're living a complicated situation. You see, in an asymmetric war, that is what happens. It's almost like a guerrilla warfare, the hid and hide. You don't know where the enemy is found. You don't know where the belligerent is found, the belligerents are found. But I'll say what happened and then the ensuing effects of it all is not something that we should be recounting here. We are all Cameroonians, okay? Yes, so I did better think that with such a situation, we look for the way forward rather than harping on the fact that Field Marshal has been killed.
Who knows whether it's
Well, Field Marshal has been killed. Yes, he created a lot of havoc. He desecrated the palaces because the majority of the funds of that jurisdiction are not resident there. Some of the people there may be jubilating. I say some. Some may be angry. We don't know what the days ahead reserve for us. We just but keep our fingers crossed, and because he has a family, right? If it's not biological, a family that has adopted him, a family that cherish him, same as the belligerents see him like a bugbear. You see, he was a bugbear to them. Thank God they did everything they could to bring him down. But I'll say, in a situation like this, as Kevin, I want to get back to him again, he said something very important. People of that caliber, you're supposed to get rid of them and exploit them. You don't kill them. You don't kill such people. You capture them, they become war victims, and then you exploit them, which may lead to averting, to putting an end to the war. But when you kill him and you jubilate and you parade the corpse in the streets as if to tell the people the person who was causing the havoc has been killed, so there is no hope for you people. You can despair because henceforth, I say it's a war strategy. It's very disheartening what we're seeing, what's happening. how I wish his demise brought an end to the war, because that would be the big achievement. But if his demise is only transient, I don't think it has done anything good.
But I think that so there are some phones or information they could get through from the phones that were collected on the site where he was killed.
Well, collecting the phones, yes. There are possibilities. They could be exploited, yes. I think that's not the first time which is one of the leaders is being killed and their information gotten from them. That's another possibility, but I still say we did better get to the table to talk than the guns doing the work. And what amount of killing will get a solution to what we're doing here? Because you see, after World War I, World War II, people got to the table and they talked, right? Yeah. So talking is much more important than all of the killing we're getting. And who tells you? His army may not want to retaliate his death. So the days ahead, there is a lot of uncertainty.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Uncertainty.
Okay. You wanted to add something?
Yes. I wanted to not necessarily add, I wanted to rectify something, because from all what I'm gathering here, it sounds more like there is a certainty that Field Marshal was killed by the military. Oh, but there is strong underground rumor that he died as a result of an infighting.
Okay, we'll come back to that. We'll come back. That is the next question. We'll come back to that. That is a very pertinent point. Dear viewers, we're going to watch this report on Field Marshal's corpse that was paraded in the southwest region of the country, done to us by Bertrand Tita. And when we listen to it, we'll come back and continue with the topic.
Hundreds of residents have gathered at Bisek Junction in Kumba, Meme division of the restive southwest region of Cameroon, to view the corpse of Olivier Likeka, a self-styled field marshal, leader of the dreaded Amber Group Red Dragon of Lebialem. His body was airlifted from Menji, Lebialem division of the southwest region of Cameroon by the military on Thursday, July 14th, to confirm the information that has been circulating on social media. Authorities confirmed the death of the dreaded separatist fighter, which to many was still a hoax, though official statement was made. It was reported that the body will also be displayed in other Cameroonian cities and towns, especially in the restive English-speaking regions of Northwest and Southwest. The decomposing body of the terrorist leader, Field Marshal, is a big win for the defense and security forces, as the quest for the return of peace and normalcy is on every lip. Field Marshal was killed during a military raid to get rid of all separatist fighters in Menji, subdivision, Lebialem division of the Southwest region, on Tuesday, July 12, 2022. The dreaded Amazonian terrorist fighter Field Marshal, who once crowned himself king, has been a hard nut to crack for years since the crisis in the English-speaking regions escalated into a full armed conflict. For a long time, Field Marshal was the most dreaded separatist fighter, clamoring for the breakaway of Cameroon's English-speaking regions. Multiple attempts by the army to bring him down failed. While his influence appears to have dwindled over time, the soldiers' fear is not over. Another separatist self-styled general known as Field Marshal No Pity is wreaking similar havoc in the northwest region. While multiple separatist generals have already been killed by the Cameroonian military and some by infighting among the different separatist camps, this has not reduced the intensity of the war. More needs to be done to completely get rid of these separatists for peace to reign.
Thanks once more for joining. If you're just tuning in, this is the Republican debate on the Republican channel, Cam10 Television. Quinivet, we want to find out something. There is information that the forces of law and other security forces killed Field Marshal. On the other hand, they said it was due to an internal crisis. Maybe one of his followers killed him. When you listen to this, when you listen to all of this, according to you, who actually killed Field Marshal?
It is not in my place to determine who killed Field Marshal. But I think that Cameroonians have the right to good information.
Okay.
If there is rumor, if there is underground rumor holding that he died as a result of in-house fighting, and then the military is parading his corpse all around the town, it is just proper for the information to be verified. We need veracity. We need the truth. Who is responsible for the death? Because it's just going to be totally abnormal and absurd for Field Marshal to have died because of some infighting, and then the military is taking the glory for his death. And second of all, I'd want to say that parading his corpse round, like we heard in the news reports, parading his corpse round all over the national territory, particularly the English-speaking zones, where the crisis is at its apex. What is the aim? To frighten the population? People's mental sanity have to be, their mental sanity have to be protected. Psychological health, it has to be protected. We are humans, we're not animals.
Maybe to prove that he's actually dead, because there was doubt that he is not dead.
There is nothing to be proven. What Cameroonians need is proof over better things than over the life of a human. We need proof that there is going to be peace in our country. We need proof that there is going to be a round-table discussion where people will sit and problems will be tabled and solutions will be sought out for. We need proof that Cameroonians' voices will become heard, will become useful in the ears of their leaders. We need proof that the situation, the political situation of our country is going to change, where we will not have people that are unable to walk on their feet, people that are unable to reason by themselves, people that are unable to speak and their voices are heard because of their age. We need proof that such people are going to step down so that the much younger and agile generation will take over. This is what we need proof of.
So if I understand, the killing of Field Marshal is not certainly going to go a long way to help curb the crisis that is going on.
A long way? We're not talking about it going a long way. We are talking about it not making any impact.
Okay.
What Cameroonians need is not for their guns and their terrific parade of a lifeless, decomposing body. That is not what the citizens need. On the contrary, this is going to be even more traumatizing to the people. Seeing such a thing, this is not something we should even be listening to. This is not something we should be encouraging. What is Cameroon turning into? These are things that we really need to talk about loud enough. Our voices need to be heard. Humanly speaking, this is not something that people should tolerate. It is not normal for a decomposing dead body to be paraded around. This is just going to, this is a strategy to terrify the people even more. We are supposed to, if there is a place where someone has to be most comfortable, it is their home. If Cameroonians cannot be at peace and comfortable in their homes, where else are we supposed to be at peace? If Cameroonians need to be spoken to just by terror, how else are they supposed to be comfortable? I am talking here about my fellow Cameroonians. I am talking here about humans. I am talking here about young boys and young girls who have become prostitutes and thieves because there is no way for them to go to school. I'm talking here about mothers that have become fugitives at their old ages, running in the bushes. I am talking here about young ladies that get pregnant by people they don't know, have babies in hospitals, they can't foot the bills. I am talking here about you and I. Probably we have the time to be in the studios and make programs like this, but what about the people that don't have the opportunity? What about those people that cannot sit here and just watch the things on TV? What about those people that are going to be watching a decomposing, lifeless body being paraded in the streets? These are not the kinds of things that we are supposed to be expecting in our country. And we have to do everything possible to put an end to this.
Okay, thank you very much. Lambert, when you look at the informations everywhere on social media, the forces of law and order, defense and security forces say they killed Field Marshal. On the other hand, it was like internal crisis that led to his death. Somebody, maybe one of his followers. Looking at this, according to you, who actually killed Field Marshal?
If I can stand here and announce that this is the person who killed Field Marshal, I should be a fool. Reason being that I am not in Lebialem, I'm in Yaoundé, and it is very difficult to get into the field to have information. Very difficult for journalists. Sometimes we do what I can call scratch news. It's very impossible in Cameroon to do an in-depth analysis of something of that nature. But we shouldn't be talking about the death. We should be talking about the possible ways to solve this nonsense.
Okay, when you talk of scratch news, it means it's not really certain who actually killed. It may be the defense and security forces.
Nobody can tell because nobody can tell because we know that they are always infighting.
Okay.
Always infighting. Even now there is infighting in almost everywhere. Not only for Amber Boys, because the separatist fighters, some of them they have gone in there to make money.
Okay.
Some of them they have. Let me just say, lost the focus, and they are looking for possible ways to survive. Somebody may be fidgeting the bush that he's a separatist fighter, while the wife is in Yaoundé, Bafoussam, Douala, doing business, children going to school. It's possible, and that's what is happening. So, because of those misunderstandings, it is keeping the way for the opposite party, that's the military, to invade them easily. But I can't tell that it was the military who did the job. Because when you are fighting with somebody with a gun, be it your brother, it's very dangerous. If you have a gun in the house and your son knows that this is where to pull the trigger, be very careful. If you keep it alive, let me put it, keep it alive, it's very dangerous. He will think that he's playing with his brother or his mother, and before you understand, somebody's already dead. So you can't tell who killed him. But for the sake of the fact that the military wants to show it that yes, we are really the forces of law and order.
Was it necessary to parade it?
It was wrong. It was not necessary. I even told one of my colleagues, we write in news, he's a writer of one of the newspapers, that my friend, don't even do that report. We should allow it like a no-event, because I want to come on air and we sit and talk. Finally, the Anglophone crisis is ended. Not finally, Field Marshal is dead. It's not solving anything. If you think that, I've often tell you, if you think that is a joke, go take permission from the boss. Try to go to Belebiale to do what we call investigation. Let me tell you, I don't know whether I will come back in patches, but I don't want to say you come back in patches. It is our work as journalists to do necessary investigation. But how to get to who and how, why, how? It's very difficult. Very difficult. So you can't sit here and say, you know, they are fighting with guns. And the moment your colleague discovers that you have taken somebody to the bush, you have taken more money, you don't want to give me the fair share, what happens?
Okay. Akufo Ines, we are talking about the killing of Field Marshal. Looking at the controversial stories, the way things are going on, can you tell me, try to inspire viewers, who do you think actually killed Field Marshal?
You posed in a $1 million question, which I think the answer is blowing the wind, okay? Blowing the wind because why do we only want to know who killed Field Marshal Oliver Likieke? Who has killed the other thousands of people who died? Yes, you should equally pose that question. Because if we think that the killing of Field Marshal is an end to the Anglophone crisis, well, I'll still keep my fingers to see whether it will be an end. If we think that the killing of Field Marshal is the killing of that idea, because the Anglophone problem is an idea that is in the minds, even the young children now. The other day I traveled to Bamenda, young children as young as 6, they already know what's happening. So you cannot kill that idea. I think we did better solve it than wanting to say who killed. You see, in a war situation, especially in an asymmetrical war, like the situation we're living now, we saw the events in Kumba, we saw the events in Libialem, we saw the events left and right, where people were massacred, where people were killed. some people claimed they did it, but now the army is claiming. Well, I won't want to say the army did or the separatists did or it was infighting. But the important thing is this. Yes, he's dead. What next? Should be the important question, because if we begin to say the army, the regular forces did it, yes, they did it. I want to bring us to an anecdote. Elsewhere, when the army killed, they paraded the corpses. Okay, do we want to say in that camp, Field Marshal was a lone person in that camp? First rhetorical question. Second rhetorical question. When somebody is killed from bullet spray, you get the signs on the body. We saw the body very fresh. Was he sprayed with bullets, or he was asphyxiated with some chemical? Those are some of the questions to begin to pose. So when you look at all of those things, you begin to ask yourself, it were better we stop fooling the people, because you can fool one of the people all the time, but you can never fool all of the people all the time and at all time. The situation we are living now, the army claiming they did it. How many of his soldiers were equally killed? We want to see them paraded as well, because you won't tell me he was in that camp alone. Let's get back to my anecdote I was trying to talk. When Senator Regina Mundi was released or was handed over, whichever you want, because I wouldn't want to justify. Did we see any casualties? So you want to say when they went to the camp, they frightened the people, the separatists in that camp, they ran helter-skelter, they left Mama Mundi there, the army came and collected her, right? So why didn't they parade the victims, the casualties, when Mama Mundi was freed? Which means when they went for that operation, there were no casualties. So you begin to see that I know it's a war situation, and either of the belligerents, they want to manage it to their advantage. You see, like I followed in that report where the journalist said, they said they will be parading the corpse to some other towns in the two English-speaking regions. That is a war strategy. It's like dissuading the people. Okay, you were counting on this man, he's dead, so just know that everything is over. The war is over. Not being a pessimist, I want to say at any one time you take away the life of a general, his soldiers become more irritated and they want to avenge the life.
So we might look at maybe most of his followers revenge.
I am not. I say I'm not being pessimist.
Okay.
Yes, but when you must have studied what happens in wars, because I did a little bit of history, right?
Okay.
At every time a general fell on the war front, you see the army, his battalion will be more revolutionary.
Okay.
So I fear we may be getting into such a situation. God forbid, because what I really wanted we should be talking about is what is the way forward after his demise, rather than wanting to say who killed him. Yeah, okay, if it's established that the army did it, good and fine, because what are the consequences, what are the effects of his killing? How does it contribute to averting the current situation in which we find ourselves? I think those would have been the searching questions to pose. But if you want to begin to see who killed him, well, why was he killed? In war, you don't ask why somebody was killed, because when you get to a battlefield, either you're back or you go down for. So we are living in a situation of imbroglio. And what we can just say is we keep pleading for government officials, because you can't go tell the separatists to end the war. You get the point? Because the DDR centers where they need the boys to lay down arms and come. I want to tell you, when somebody has gotten the taste of an egusi pudding, you hardly take it out of the person's mouth. So there is a lot of homework to be done by government officials, by the indigenes of those areas. You see, when the Prime Minister got down some months back, he said the elite, they have a lot to contribute to see into it that the institution be arrested. I don't know what the elite have been doing since then. So we are just living in an imbroglio. We don't know which way to go yet. I say yet. We're forced to make do with the situation. Whether the fighters killed, whether it was infighting, whether it was the army, that is none of my lookout. The lookout is after his killing. What contribution will that lead to getting out of the already rotten situation in which we find ourselves? And I want to tell you something. If you know how devastating this war is, the economies of the Northwest and the Southwest regions were dependent on education. That was the main base of their economies. All of the best schools in those two regions are constructed in Douala, in Yaoundé, in Bafoussam, in Betwa, so much so that even if the war were to end today, those economies will remain stagnant for some time.
Wow.
It's rather a pity. And mind you, people who run away from war, after the war, they hardly get back to where they were, they departed. Because they may meet a new El Dorado elsewhere. You don't expect somebody to meet, go to Tui. Some people who have been in Bumenda, they never had farmland, but go to Tui now, they have hectares
of lands there.
So you want somebody who has hectares of land. After the war, the person gets back to Bumenda, gets back to Nkambe, where he will go and there will be no piece of land for he or she to farm.
Wherever, they always say that home is home. No matter where you go, you will still go back home. Okay, Quinivet, there is a question I want to find out. The death of Field Marshal, can we say this is a warning to General No Pity, who is in the Northwest region?
The death of Field Marshal.
A warning message to General No Pity.
To General No Pity.
Yes.
Maybe we should be looking out for what warning it is to Cameroon as a nation. Not a warning, okay, Field Marshal has gone down. If General No Pity goes down, what changes? You know, if we want to solve a problem, we don't look at, like you want to cut down a tree. If you want a tree to die down, you're not going to start cutting off its branches. As long as the root is planted into the ground, it will still grab its nutrients. It will bear new branches. The leaves will grow fresh. The tree will grow strong. General No Pity, or whoever all these generals are, should not even be the bone of contention. The bone of contention here is not the present crisis going on in Cameroon. The bone of contention should be, why is there a crisis in Cameroon? That is the way we should look at problems. I think we've spent more than enough time, like over 40 years, talking about crisis, talking about economic this and all of that. We are running away. We keep diverting our attention from the main thing. We keep diverting our looks from the main thing. Now, let me say this. Following a couple of outings by the PAP, we got into communication with a good number of people, and now when you listen to these people, their fear is not the guns. Their fear is not the lives that are being lost. Their fear is the generations that are wasted, the future that is uncertain. Their fear is what tomorrow holds. Like, there are even a good number of these people that don't even see a tomorrow. And when you sit someone down and you're asking them, what is your reason for this and this and this, you'd hardly hear anyone saying that because there is fighting in Cameroon. Everyone would tell you that the country had been long spoiled before the crisis. So this is just an aftermath of a lot of grudges that had been kept in, a lot of pain that had been swallowed up, a lot of discontentment and everything. This is just the outburst of a crisis that had been existing. This trouble in Cameroon is not a military problem. Okay. It is not an issue of guns and machines of all sorts and rifles and all of that.
It boils down to what they were saying at a certain time, that it will withdraw the military from the northwest and southwest regions. Do you think that is also a possibility?
Withdrawing the military is not the solution to this issue. The solution to this issue is for the 1961 Federation to come back to place. This is what the people want.
Okay.
The people want a dialogue. The people want a conversation. The people want... Normally, when we talk about a democracy, when we talk about governance, when we talk about leadership, I believe here that you do not impose on the people who should lead them. Is that not so? You don't tell the people who should lead them. The people are supposed to say that, okay, this is the person we want, this is the leader we see. And if people have been complaining that, no, you are not doing what we expected you to do, and they put you where you are, hopefully or supposedly, then it is time for you to listen to these people. Every leader, every good leader, you get your corrections from the people you're leading. That is the way things are supposed to happen. So talking about military, withdrawing the military, okay, before the trouble started, was there military in the northwest and southwest regions? But was there peace? It is a psychological problem. It's an ideology. And just like Chief said, ideologies are not killed with guns. You can never kill an ideology. The thing that is happening in Cameroon, which we are adamant to realizing, is that the more people are killed, the more pain and hatred is instilled in the hearts of the people. The more vengeance is instilled in the hearts of the people. The more animalized Cameroonians are transformed. The more unreasonable they become about the reality of life and human rights and people and all of that. The more the children grow not knowing what peace and love is. Children that were born from after 2017, they don't know, in the northwest and southwest regions, they really don't know what peace is. They don't know what it means to live in a country where
they know the sounds of it.
They know the sounds of the guns. Not long ago, I think last 2 weeks, I traveled to the southwest. Hey, come and see children playing along the streets. Their games. In those days, now children used to run around with tires. And I don't know, they make some of these games that they play around. But these are children that have made fake guns from bamboo sticks. And that has become the norm. The things that are abnormal have become the normal things in Cameroon. That is what we should be looking at. I mean, it's deplorable to think that we are concerned about, how did you call him, General No Pity? That is one man in a nation of millions of people. We should be concerned rather about all these many people that are going down the drain because of a political struggle. We should be concerned, like I said earlier, there are young ladies there that dropped out from school. Some of them don't know from which end to which end their fathers ran. They don't know to which other end their mothers ran. They don't know to which end their brothers and sisters ran. They don't have a home because their houses were burnt down. And they don't have anybody. They don't know anyone to whom they can turn. They've become prostitutes. And tomorrow we are going to see on the news that Cameroonian youth is a lazy set of people. They don't want to work. They don't want to do anything. They are thieves. They're prostitutes and all of that. What are we doing to make sure that we keep them from getting themselves into these situations? What are we doing practically? I remember some months back, I had to talk with a lady in Douala, the hospital in Douala there. She gave birth to a child and she had been in the corridors of the hospital. I won't disclose the name because it's somewhat, yes, I won't disclose the name. And she's been with her baby there for about 3 months and she doesn't know the father of her child. Because she was running in the bush and then she got raped. So who raped you? She doesn't know exactly. She can't pinpoint whether it was a separatist fighter or a military person, but that is not my concern. The thing is that she was raped by somebody. She is living in the streets in Douala and now she's carrying a baby in her hands. What kind of child would that one grow to be? Not having a shelter. That child would definitely grow in the streets. We need to think about the people. We need to think about Cameroonians. The reason why we go round and round debate topics and all of that is because there are people up there, the up-notch category of Cameroonians. They don't have any problem sitting in their air-conditioned offices, signing papers with their pens, assigning people to different places of work. They have no problems. No, but the greater population of Cameroon is the one that is suffering. We need to stop thinking about Field Marshal, General No Pity. We need to start thinking about the real problem of the people. The problem of the people is the governance that they have. Our problem. I don't even want to say the people, our problem is the governance we have. If we are not careful, things will get worse than we think they are.
Okay.
If we are not careful, things will really get worse than we think they are.
Okay.
We need to start thinking about the people, get the solution to the problem, listen to the people, because that is what the people want. They need to be heard, their voices need to be heard, and a solution needs to be looked out for. Not looking for the next person to kill. If all Cameroonians decide to become terrorists, finally now who are they going to govern? They'll kill everybody.
Okay, thank you very much, Quinivet Lambert. The killing of Field Marshal that we are talking today is on headlines everywhere. Is that a warning message to General No Pity, who is in the northwest region of Cameroon?
Can you define the warning you're talking about? What is
A warning message, like you see Field Marshal who has been there.
To be killed.
Yes, you are the next person, so you are warned.
Who knows whether
you are the Almighty?
Who knows whether the No Pity himself will not be the next victim? Who knows whether they will kill a different person? Should that be an issue of discussion? I earlier said, should we be killing people and celebrating, or and killing and warning? You kill this one, you want this one. Take care, take care. Should we be talking about that? No. We should be looking for a possible way of solving, bringing an end to the war. Let me tell you that I want to go back to Kumbo, but I cannot. I want to go back to Nkambe. I cannot. I want to go back to Misaje. I cannot. I have done a documentary when things were normal I did a documentary in Sabongari for 1 week, and I was very impressed because I went to Mbonso, other areas, and saw very beautiful areas, natural. But can we do that? No. Warning No Pity or warning whosoever is not the solution. Trying to bring people on table to talk, to dialogue.
Because when we talk of No Pity, it's because lives keep getting lost.
It's I'm understanding what you are saying very well. But how many people have died? How many have been killed? Has anything been done? No. The various steps whosoever is taking seems to be very wrong steps. You take a step ahead, you see that it's like somebody's drawing you back. It is not solving anything. So sometimes I even said, I said to somebody, I even told you that I am fed up discussing about the who issue. Because it's like the more we talk, the more aggravated the thing is becoming, which is not good. Killing this one, warning this one is not solving an issue. I keep saying it and saying it. We should rather be looking for where did we really go wrong? Can we go back and sit? Can you look at your brother? Can you look at Chief and say, Chief, you hurted me so much. I've forgiven you. Let's go. I don't think that's possible here in Cameroon because some people are more Cameroonians than others. We are all Cameroonians, but some people are so more Cameroonians than others. You want to go to a ministry to deposit a document, you discover yourself taking a whole week to deposit one paper. It has not even been ratified whether you will be recruited there or whether your documents will reach the right table. The minister comes to the office at 11 o'clock, goes back at 2 o'clock. The minister goes out anyhow, he's not in Cameroon, he's abroad, and you are talking of...
What do you expect from a tired minister?
That is what I'm saying. So let's go back to the table.
Over.
Let us go back to the table.
So this is no message to General
We
No Pity.
need a genuine dialogue. What happened here in Yaoundé was not a dialogue. Let me be very clear. It was a consultative meeting.
That I think there is it is good to begin something.
Yeah, they started, and it's like the start was very poor. The foundation was very poor, and that's why you still have the various guns in the northwest and the southwest. And remember that in Mokolo, not up to 2 weeks, we have had certain things. I don't know how to put it. Yes, something happened in Mokolo. Not a week ago, it happened again.
It wasn't something. They were explosive.
Yeah.
So let's go.
So
yes.
it is a signal. It's a signal that it's not only the northwest and the south that is sick. Cameroon is sick, and the right doctor knows how to treat Cameroon.
Who is the right doctor? That is
We are the right doctors. Where do we go to? Call your brother, sit on the table and decide what to do. Not only sitting and talking every day and nothing is changing.
we need to act.
Now, focusing
How do
on
we act?
Field Marshal
When somebody-
Lambert,
Yes.
I think we are going off. Talking about Field Marshal, don't you think it is also a warning to General No Pity in the Northwest region? We know he has crossed from the Northwest, he goes to the West region and has also killed some people there.
It is the warning to all Cameroonians that you may be the next victim to die.
Okay.
I'm not used to guns.
Okay.
It is a warning to Cameroonians that, bro, you may be the next victim to die, because
Okay.
they don't know who will kill who and how. Cameroon now is like a time bomb.
Okay.
It's like a forest that the grasses have gone dry and it needs just a stick of match to explode. Just wait and see. The days ahead are blind. The days ahead, there's cloud and you don't know what happens.
Okay, thank you very much, Lambert. For Enes, who want to find out something. The killing of Field Marshal, do you think it is also a warning to General No Pity in the Northwest region? We all know of his activities, even moving from the Northwest to the West region and causing some havoc, the killings.
I want to say, when we want to circumscribe the problem that's happening in the two English-speaking regions to be limited there, I want to say the repercussions are felt over the national territory. Yes, because some people only want to circumscribe it to the Northwest and Southwest regions. Well, maybe the majority of the killings is taking place there, because gradually it is being transposed to the West region. And then Lambert was talking about Mokolo, where we had 2 explosives within the period of 10 days. Those are premonitions, and we should be very careful. We should be very careful because, well, I'm not talking like from a point of, say, I'm part of it, but there are signs which are not good. Yes, because when we live in a precarious situation, because we're living in a precarious situation, there is a lot of uncertainty. And then when you read through the communique which the senior divisional officer from Fundi signed, authorizing the search of bags and all the like, you begin to open your eyes widely and see that there is something not very right, going wrong somewhere. So those are telling signs. So as to whether, coming back to your question proper, as to whether the killing of Lekeke Olivia is not going to maybe deter or like a warning signal to the other general. I want to tell you, all of those names, I hate calling them, to be frank. Because it doesn't make sense. When we live in a country and there is a problem, we don't look for the solution. We rather want to solve the consequences than getting to solve the root cause of the problem. Yes, because like he rightly said, I think at a certain point in time, I'll avoid coming on panels to talk about this palaver. Because it seems as if the more we talk about it, we accentuate it. Whereas I think we're doing a lot of education, telling the people this is not good, this is not good. Whether it will have a repercussion, who knows? Because you started by posing a very intriguing question: who holds responsibility for the killing of the general in Libya? It will mean equally that if those who perpetrated the act, it is very likely that they may as well go after the other general. Right. True or false? Very true, right? So, because I say, if those who perpetrated the act, they may use the same Machiavellic means to get to the other general. But mind you, you may kill 1,000 generals, but you shall never kill that ideology. So I did better think that the important thing to do was get to know what this ideology is all about. There is no gainsaying. I don't know what we're beating about the bush. The people have been marginalized for the past years. The president did acknowledge when he went to France. And thank God the president of France is coming. I just hope that he's coming to give a solution to that problem. President Macron is coming to Cameroon. I fervently wish he's coming to put an end to that problem. Because when the president reported to him, I thought I could assimilate these people. But I discovered their legal system was different. Their culture was different. So when you have a people who have a culture, which is their identity, who have a legal system, who have an educational system, how do you engulf them? It is difficult engulfing them. You must do everything to identify and then keep them on track. Because if you want to assimilate them, it is always often impossible. So, as to whether the same fate will hold for General No Pity or other generals, I would say, even if it does hold or it doesn't hold, it will create no achicancy. The important thing we're looking at is, how do we get out of the imbroglio?
Okay.
It is the most important and searching question. Because the more people are killed, the more people are being radicalized, the more the citizens are developing a heart of stone. When you get to Bemenda, I was there some few weeks ago. Maybe at one end of the town, people are hearing gunshots, and people this way are going about their activities. They don't feel anything wrong in that. How on earth do you imagine that? So much so that when you come to town like a stranger, when you hear that, you are panic-stricken. But the people ask you, hey, what's that? You say you're afraid. They say, look at you. You people, you're out there. You go enjoying yourself, and you say, so I want to say the important thing is, it's not whether No Pity, the other generals will suffer the same fate like Marshall. The important thing is, how do we come out of this situation?
Okay, thank you very much. Dear televiewers, we are going to have a transition, and when we come back, we're going to take the second topic of the day. You're welcome back. We take the second topic of today. Now we'll be talking about security, the appointments of new generals. We focus more on the Anglophone regions, precisely in Bamenda, the appointments of Brigadier General Buba from the far north region to the northwest region of the country. The question is, moving over to Quinivet, do you think that the appointment of General Buba from the northwest, where he was fighting with the Boko Haram, is it going to yield fruit in the northwest region?
When they appoint or reappoint or deploy and move people back and forth, what is the objective?
Maybe he has more experience.
Experience in doing what exactly? Killing people, sending more troops out to fight the people. What, you know, these are things that I'm really still to understand. These are things that Cameroonians are still to understand. You know, when I'm talking of things I'm really still to understand, is because I am talking from the point of view of the one who is in charge of justice, peace, and human rights for the PAP. I get in contact with people. I try to get the perspectives of the people. That is the objective here. What do the people think? when there is appointments and transfers and deployments and redeployments and all of that, what is actually the objective? You say maybe because he has more experience. More experience in what? I will repeat again that the situation in Cameroon is not a military problem. We have just transformed it to become a military thing. And from the past things that we have been talking about, it has been more of more lives. Will it be, is it a warning to this person? First of all, let me get back a little to that. A warning to the general in Bamenda that is it that the military will get to him, or that there will also be an infighting for him? Because that particular point has not yet been made clear. So when we talk of, is it going to be a warning to him? Is it a warning to him that military will get to him?
Yes, that he is not...
Is it military that got to the one in the Lebi Alem?
Question. That is why I asked the first question. Who actually killed?
No, because even in our questions, we should really be clear. Because when you just say, is it a warning to him? It sounds more like we are certain of who got to the one in Lebi Alem, and now we know that they will be going
not
for the
really
one.
certain, because it could also be those inside, because they say your enemy. Yes,
may produce the same effect.
exactly.
The same causes may produce the same effect. That is true. The same causes may produce the same effect. But what is the objective? Is that what we should be looking at when they have appointed and reappointed and redeployed and all of that? What is the objective? Someone might have better experience than another person. So what? What do we need that experience for? To train the troop in that particular area better, to go out for more fighting. We have to admit that military outings have led to the death of a good number of people. Some that are mentioned, some that are not mentioned. Figures that are really to be verified, because apparently the figures are reduced when it comes to the end of the military. The figures are greatly reduced. But these are realities that we don't want to talk about. These are realities that we shy away from. I don't see any use. If the military redeployment and all is just for this topic, these issues that we are talking about, then I don't see the use. We are facing an ideological problem. It is high time we admitted that we do not have a military problem. Our problem it will not, and it will never be solved by arms. It can never be solved by arms. It is high time we admitted that changing one general and taking the most fierce generals, maybe, and sending them to the English-speaking zones will not solve any problem, because we should as well admit that amongst the people, an angry man who has lost his family, his wealth, can be worse than any person you would train in your military. He can be more dangerous than what you can ever imagine. And this is something that has to do with what he has in his mind, what he feels in his heart. It has nothing to do with the weapons he has in his hands. Because you will kill him and you will never kill what he has gone through. You will kill him, you will never kill the traces of what you have done to him. You will kill him, you will never kill what you caused his child to see while you were killing him. You will kill him, but you will never kill the pain. The Ngabu incident, no matter, it has just died down, but it is fresh in the hearts of the people. Lebi Alem incident, it has died down, but it is fresh in the hearts of the people. No matter how many people are killed, no matter how many military troops are deployed, no matter how many generals or commanders or lieutenants or however they call them, no matter how many people are transferred or redeployed and all of that, it will not change the problem at hand. We have an ideological problem. We have a psychological, we have something that has to do with idea. The idea of the people is what we have been ignoring. It is what Cameroon, when I talk about Cameroon, I'm talking about the big Cameroon, the bourgeois of Cameroon. The idea of the people is what the bourgeois Cameroon has been avoiding to look at. We keep suppressing the people, where we will never suppress them forever. The people had been suppressed, they had been marginalized. Oh yes, the president did acknowledge that the people had been marginalized. He had tried to he thought that he could be able to assimilate, it is not enough for him to just realize. What is he, after he has realized, what is he doing? When you understand that you cannot force someone to do something, then liberate the person. You don't say, oh, I've understood, I cannot force you, but you keep the person in captivity. Saying with the mouth that we have gone past that stage where we need people to just say, I admit. We have gone past that stage where we need people to just say, I realize.
Okay, you talk of liberating the people.
We are at the level where people need to be liberated from psychological captivity. People need to be liberated from military captivity. People need to be liberated. Cameroonians need to feel free. I do not know if you agree with me or not, but we are aware. You know, sometimes we could know something and we choose just not to agree. We are aware that Cameroonians are not free. It is just verbal that Cameroon is a free country. It is just documented that we are in a free country, but that is not the reality. People are even afraid to say regions where they come from. Do you understand that someone is afraid to present themselves and say, I'm from the northwest region of Cameroon? Do you understand how that kind of thing works? Do you understand how it could be for someone not to want to admit that they are a teacher? Do you understand how it is for someone not to want to admit that they are in the public service? That is the kind of captivity I'm talking about here. People need to be liberated. And all these things I've mentioned, I don't see in any way the military changing and appointing and adding troops in regions, specific regions, will influence anything in the present situation we are facing. We need liberation. That is what we're talking about. He made mention of going to the ministries and the minister is coming at 11 a.m. I'm going to say again that it is normal, because someone who is very tired, he needs to rest longer. He's gone back to the state of a baby where he needs to sleep and have his grass matinee. He will not wake up in the early a.m.s and rush to the office. He's not productive. But those are the kinds of things that we need to be liberated from. You keep going, pursuing documents, and you get old and your children come and pursue the same documents, and their children come and pursue the same documents, because we have the same generation of people from the time you were young to the time you died. Things cannot be changed in that manner, and the military will not solve such a problem. So I think that we should really try to start looking at the real things here.
Okay, thank you very much. Lambert, we are talking about Brigadier General Obuba that left from the far north region. He is now appointed to the northwest region. Do you think that his experience in the far north region is going to bring a wind of change and an end to the ongoing crisis?
Has the Boko Haram issue in the far north been solved? Thank you. Is General Buba going to Bamenda as a savior to bring peace to Cameroon? So many questions that can never be answered. I'm asking this because it's just like a type of table. I can decide to change and sit where Quinivet is sitting. I can decide to sit where Chief is sitting. It's like a free country for some particular personalities to be turning around, like doing sport without doing anything. I don't see why. To me, I could have loved that the president himself stays in Bamenda for a week, then tests the attitude of a gun, sounds of gun, and then maybe when he comes back to Yaoundé, he will not be deceived by those who are circulating around the president. Because some of these things are happening because we are so used to type of diplomatic way of living. It is difficult for you to go see your mother directly. You must pass through a certain corridor. No, it is your house. You should go see your mother directly. I'm saying this. Do you know that in 6 years, let me not even talk about the 6 years old war. I am 36 now. I have studied the president of the National Assembly, the same person, the president of this country, the same person. And my son that is 6 years old is studying the same person. Oh God, what are we saying? People, you want to change people's ideology to suit yours. Remember, we are here in Yaoundé, and the people in Yaoundé, they are so used to, I'm a Cameroonian, they are so used to this saying that we are not, so I'm in a bakery, somebody comes in, want to buy bread, he's comfortable saying that, I don't understand English. What do you mean by patwala? English is now my mother tongue.
Okay, we are talking about
what I'm saying is that if Alhaji Buba is going to Bamenda to be like a savior to solve the problem, fine. But my problem is he going to solve it since he's a general through the gunshot, or he is going to solve it through pen and paper, through dialogue. Impossible, because he's coming from the north and Boko Haram seems to be creating other strategies. What is happening? Look at, the Cameroon government have been sending troops out to go for peace, to assist other countries for peace mission, like Central Africa. Have they solved anything from there? The problem seems to be increasing every day. So we keep talking and talking the same thing every day. We'll come here next year, we'll talk, you invite me next week, we come, we talk the same thing, and people are just being changing positions. They're just changing seats. Nothing's happening. So they don't want to change him from the far north to feel the airwaves, the natural area, the nice northwest, the nice northwesterners. Yeah, you feel out the northwest. Just like he can still be sent to the southwest to feel, or he can be sent elsewhere in the east to feel the area. They are just leaving.
But I want to believe you have an idea of what he has been doing there. Do you think that is going to contribute positively to the peace?
If he is a human being, he is a father, he is a normal person, just like General Kavale, who is coming here in Yaoundé.
Yeah.
What is going to happen? They are fathers. They are, in fact, they are generals. I'm repeating, they are changing just seats. Nothing. I'm still to see.
Okay, thank you very much, Lambete. Akufo Enese. Over to you, talking about Brigadier General Buba from the far north region of the country to the northwest region of the country. From his experience, do you think that is going to bring a wind of change to see how peace could be restored in the northwest and southwest regions?
Lady Anne, I almost don't want to answer to your question, but since I'm here to answer the question,
Yes.
I must answer.
Okay.
Because that's talking top security of the nation, right? Yes, and the President of the Republic knows why he does what he does, because he's the supreme commander of the armed forces. So before he does the changes you see which he did, he must be well conversant with what he's doing. And in spite of the fact that, as my co-panelists have already spoken, that it is not that counts. The important thing that counts is, is he coming with a magic wand? That's the $1 million question. Is he coming to arrest the current situation or to inflame it? That is the question we're supposed to ask. Sorry? And also, he's coming from a war-torn zone. And you have to know, between Boko Haram, the war in the far north region, and the war in the two English-speaking regions, they are two different wars, completely two different. Yes. So if you want to use the strategy you're using on Boko Haram, on the separatist fighters, I don't think it's gonna work. Yes, I say I don't think. That's why I say I almost didn't want to answer to your question, because those are top security issues. But since I'm here to answer to questions, I think I should bring my own viewpoint on that, because you see, it's an asymmetrical war, the one we're having in the northwest and southwest regions. You don't know who is a separatist fighter. Yes, it's not written on the face that, okay, as you see, NS is a separatist, Kevin or my dear sister is a separatist fighter. Yes, they are not overtly identified, except when you see them carrying arms. So identifying them, I don't know whether the general has that expertise. And then you see the terrain too. When you come from a completely Saharian region into a grass field region, I begin to ask myself. So it will need a lot of military strategy.
So if I understand, it was better to keep General Kavale because they said an old broom sweeps better than a new broom.
Well, I won't equally want to buy that idea. Okay. Rather, I would say this. There is a war economy, okay?
Okay.
Yes, there's a war economy. Because presently what's happening is, and you know, within war periods like the one we're facing now, a lot of money changes hands. You see, people don't account for war money. It goes. And apparently when one has chopped to a certain degree, obviously he's sent away, you bring another one to come and chop. Yeah, because excuse me, use that terminology of chopping, because the one who left, formerly it was Aga. Did he bring anything good? They brought another one. He's gone. Another one is coming. Can they bring forth their balance sheet of what they've done so far to address the current situation? So when you begin to tell me whether this will happen, I keep saying it since we started this program, that the most important thing is not, you can take all of the generals, almost 40 generals Cameroon has, you take them to the northwest and southwest regions. I will be very happy. Very happy, because if they get there, they use all of their military strength to avert the situation, fine. But since it is an ideology, I don't see how arms can kill an ideology. So I want to say, take all the generals in Cameroon and send to the northwest and southwest regions. I don't see them winning the war. I'm sorry to say it, but I must say it.
Okay.
So my sister did say this issue is not an issue to be fought with arms, with physical arms, but with psychological arms. It is a political issue. It demands people getting to sit together as we're talking here, exchanging. You say, okay, what's your viewpoint? Well, I did think that if this thing were done like this, it would have been better. Then you come to a compromise, okay? Yeah, but apparently, if a certain group of people have to force something into the throat of the others, I fear we still have to go a long way. Yes, because when it started in 2016, 2017, we thought tomorrow it would be the end. But we're getting 2022, it's almost over. Elsewhere, the situations like this have gone for 20, 30 years. God forbid, it shouldn't be the case in Cameroon. I just hope that when President Macron comes here next week, it's to arrest the situation. Yes, because if he has to come for a pleasure trip, I want to say it will serve no purpose.
Okay, thank you very much. We're drawing to the end of our program. But before we go, I think you have one word to say concerning the ongoing crisis. What do you think is the way forward? I think we've been talking and talking and talking. So what do you think could actually be done to see that this crisis in the northwest and southwest region comes to an end? Blood splitting everywhere. Quinivet.
Okay, if I am to propose the way forward, first will be that if President Macron has to help Cameroon, then he should help us by saying that they are leaving us alone. We're in the 21st century. We don't need a godfather. Okay.
Wait, I want you to know, I won't let you be. When you talk of like letting us alone, are you trying to talk of like separating, or what, leaving them alone, the English-speaking region alone? How? I don't get you.
We need France off of Cameroon.
Ah, okay.
We need France as a whole. Oh, we can like bilateral trade and every other thing can be discussed. But I don't think that we need Macron to come and tell us that, hey, okay, my dear Cameroonians, it's time to end the war. You see, you fought for a long time. So no, we are people in the 21st century that are supposed to be able to take charge of themselves. What the president needs to hear is not supposed to be coming from Macron. He needs to listen to his people. That is what we keep crying for. So as a way forward, I would say that the government and Cameroonians should greatly consider a ceasefire. The government should greatly consider dialoguing with her people, talking with Cameroonians, listening to this English-speaking people. It's already a good thing that they acknowledge the fact that the English-speaking people have been greatly marginalized. So it's time, if you acknowledge that already, I mean, just continue with the good thing you started doing. It should not just be like it's a camouflage. So there should be a dialogue, there should be a ceasefire, and then there should be genuine considerations for the proposals of these people. A good thing he knows already that we cannot be assimilated. Our culture cannot be smashed to the mud. We're not asking for anything much. If Cameroonians, if English-speaking Cameroonians are asking for their culture to be respected and their rights to be given to them, it's not difficult. So yes, Macron should not come to Cameroon to tell us that, okay, he wants to arrest the case. He's not in the position to arrest a case for us. We should cease fire. We should dialogue.
Okay, thank you very much, Quinivet Lambert. What is your last word? I think blood bleeding every day and the crises, years keep passing by. What do you think could be done? I think it's time we say that enough is enough.
Is it good that we sit and talk? Is it good that we end the war by keeping guns silent? It is the right time. 6 years is enough. 6 years is too much for us to bear. You can't be in your country and you are not free. Some Cameroonians should equally stop being more Cameroonians than others. Don't think that you can instruct a Cameroonian and tell the Cameroonian what to do as if to say you are the owner of the Cameroon. We all are Cameroonians. Some people should be because there are Cameroonians that are more Cameroonian. I've been saying this several times repeatedly, and I'll always be saying it. I am a Cameroonian. I love my country, and that's why I'm still here. If not, I could have fallen or sick for asylum. I'm somewhere.
So you think that this crisis is going to an end?
The guns should be silenced even as of now.
Okay.
A genuine dialogue should be conducted immediately, even now.
Political prisoners should be released.
But that's what I'm going to. That's what I'm going
When
to.
you talk of dialogue, please let me get to you. If you when you talk of dialogue between who and who?
The president and the executive knows best who is who.
No, you said dialogue, so you should have an idea of who should be on the dialogue.
Let those who started this Anglophone, those who are Anglophone leaders,
You're talking about the consortium.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let them be released and we'll talk.
You're talking
Okay.
about political prisoners.
Yes.
They should be released.
Yes, and we talk. Talk, not talking on phone. Talk like this, not talking on guns. Talk. Let them come on air. Let them sit and talk. My friend, this is now. We don't tire. No, it was the way it is. I didn't know. You see where we have landed ourselves. Blah, blah, blah. Can we end it now and move forward and keep the guns silent? That's enough.
Not just moving
Okay.
forward. I mean, they should state what the move forward is.
Yes.
You know, 1961. They should state what the move forward is.
Okay, thank you very much. Akufo-Enes, I'm ending with you. The crisis is ongoing. We are tired. Don't you think it's time to say enough? And what do you think? What can you propose for this to come to an end?
Lady Anne, I want to first of all thank you for having brought up this topic. I want to say guns don't talk, people talk, okay? Yes, and it were better we bid a farewell to arms. Yes, because armed conflicts have never been a solution to any problem anywhere in the world.
Okay.
Rather, when people talk to each other. When the First World War came, we saw the devastating effects, and the Second World War, and they all ended with people getting to the table. How long do we need to kill again before we get to the table to discuss? Is the $1 million question. So I want to say, it were high time we bid a farewell to arms. Bidding a farewell to arms doesn't mean that arms will no more be there, because without arms, the men of the underworld will deal with us. That is not the meaning of bidding a farewell to arms, but it will mean to demilitarize the streets in the two English-speaking regions. Yes. Let the army get back to the barracks.
Okay.
Because when people hear of a ceasefire, they think that, okay, it's removing all of the army from the northwest and southwest regions and sending them back to Yaoundé. That is not what we're talking about. And then there should be the creation of a reconciliation commission. Yes, it's high time we begin to think about it, because people are already talking about the DDR, bilingualism and all the like. It's high time Cameroonians start reconciling amongst themselves. You see, the thing is fast spreading. And mind you, this palaver is not an Anglophone, Francophone thing. Because many people have tried to push it to that extent, to the point where the politicians, the demagogues, you know, they're all demagogues. they come in and they begin to talk about the vivre ensemble.
Okay.
Cameroonians have never had the problem of living together.
Okay.
And that's what
30 seconds, we are drawing to the end of the program.
So,
yes,
I
your
want
last
to say,
word.
We need to get to the dialogue table.
Okay.
We need to talk genuine dialogue. We need to do concessions. That's the most important of it all.
Okay.
Yes, because if you go to the dialogue table without having to concede, yes, I don't think you come out of it. But when you have a rigid position, it doesn't work.
Okay.
And above all, we should love ourselves.
Okay.
Cameroonians don't love themselves.
Okay.
Because if we loved ourselves, we would be finding ourselves in the mess in which we find ourselves.
Okay, thank you very much, dear televiewers. It is with that we draw the curtains of the Republican debate this Saturday evening. And just to remind you, we're debating on two topics today: the Anglophone crisis, killing of dreaded separatist fighter, that is General. We are talking about General Field Marshal of Lebi Alem. Was that good news?
Quotes, please.
General in quotes. General in quotes of Field Marshal. I say general because that is how the people used to call him. He used to say he's general. So is that good news? That was the first topic of today. And then the second, we're talking about security, new appointments. Is that the appointments, are they going to contribute to bring the end to the crises that are ongoing in the southwest and northwest regions of the country? And during today's program, we were with Jokem Quinivet Kaah. She is the National Secretary of Justice, Peace and Human Rights for the PAP party. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation.
It was a pleasure to be on this platform with respectable
The Iron Lady.
panelists. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, we had Kevin Lambert. Thank you very much for coming. I just remind you, he is a journalist. Thank
It
you.
was a pleasure coming here today for the second time and meeting Chief our Papa.
Akufo
Chief
Enes, yes.
Akufo. We have been battling on CRTV.
Oh, okay.
Thank God we have made face to
Okay,
face.
I used
And
to
nice
call.
having you too.
I used to call you my daddy, Akufo Enes. Thank you very much for coming.
It was a pleasure, and I did think that the viewers out there, they went home with something. Yeah, and I want to thank you for the courage you had to bring up this very sensitive topic.
Okay, thank you very much, dear viewers. It is with much love that we say goodbye, and hopefully by next week, Saturday, 6 p.m., we'll meet for another edition. Have a blessed weekend.
Il faut toujours être content. Not the one way cause I'm for you.